Hello, hello. Steve, Canadian Sasquatch, coming at you with another Fitness Friday. That's right, episode 2 of Fitness Fridays. We are keeping this thing rolling for the time being. Today, we're going to talk about nutrition. Um, it's one of the foundations of being healthy and fit. It's like if you don't eat the right foods, then there's no way your body's going to be able to maintain a healthiness, which allows you to exercise and become fit as well. So the foundation of being healthy is food, nutrition, hydration, all of that stuff. Um, so before we get into all that, though, we are going to talk numbers. That's right. Part of this whole thing is keeping me on track, and we're going to do that by posting my numbers. So as I mentioned last week, I weigh myself every Monday and have for like the last 6-7 years. I use a scale that uses electrical impedance to measure body fat. So this week, I have my notes right here. This week, my numbers are 252.6 pounds and 33.0% body fat. And then for you people that remember things from like a week ago, you freaks, you'll know that last week I weighed 252.0 pounds and 32.2% body fat. So my weight is up 0.6 pounds and my body fat is up 0.8%. So I'm not worried about that. I know my nutrition was pretty bad last week. I had a numerous amount of tasty beverages, which is just a whole lot of empty calories. Especially the ones that I enjoy, which are quite often anywhere between 300 to 600 calories per 12-ounce pour. So yeah, that is a thing. So I just need to work on my nutrition, and well, that's what we're talking about today is nutrition. There is so much information, misinformation, myths, legends, completely wrong information when it comes to nutrition and diet and all that. The very first thing that I wanted to clear up with nutrition and exercising and just the whole being fit and healthy in general is there is no one thing for everybody. It's like if somebody says that they have this super awesome diet that works for everybody, they are wrong. Everybody is built differently. Everybody has a different ancestral heritage, blah, blah, blah. And that's what makes up what we require for nutrition most of the time. So the first one is there is no one thing for everybody. It's all a matter of figuring out what works for us, each individual, and do that. The next thing about nutrition is there's so many different facets of it. There's weight loss, there's weight maintaining, there's gaining weight, there's muscle building, there's endurance, there's just all kinds of different kinds of activities and things that you want to become healthier. Is like some people need to gain weight to be healthy, some people need to lose weight, some people need to build muscle, some people need to work on their endurance. This all requires different types of nutrition to reach those goals. So again, that's one of those, not one plan works for everybody because everybody has different goals. So we need to tailor that to ourselves to make it work out. So let's talk a little bit about some of the different diets and where they come from and all that. So like some of the diets out there, Paleolithic man eating meat and vegetation, no dairy, no grains. That's a diet. That's a popular diet. That's still a diet that there are some tribes around the planet that are still eating that way. Tribes in Africa, tribes in Australia. That's how they eat. They find their proteins and their vegetations and they eat that. And they're fit and they're healthy. And that's actually the diet that I prefer myself because it works so well for me. But we'll get back into that. Another one, keto. So that's kind of the high diet, no carb diet that's everybody is like all goo goo for these days. It works for some people, it doesn't work for some people. There are indigenous people that essentially follow the keto diet. They may not know it, but who? Eskimos. What do Eskimos eat? Whale blubber, seal blubber, just all that blubber and meat from those animals, because they need those high calories, all that fat to help them out way up there in the north tundra of Canada, Greenland, Siberia, etc. Vegetation doesn't grow so well up there, so they're eating just essentially meat and fat, and that's keto essentially. So a lot of these diets are based off of people, uh, different types of people's tribes, going way back to like before the beginning of time type thing. Another diet, the people around the Mediterranean, all those sexy golden bodies and all that, what are they eating? The Mediterranean diet. Again, diets based off of how people look and how the foods affect them in a good way in a certain region. So we need to look back to our history, our ancestors, and that to sometimes figure out what our nutrition, what best nutrition works for us. And like I said, for me specifically, it's paleo. I work best if I don't do grains and dairy. I also really like grains and dairy because beer, bread, cheese, ice cream, these are all very tasty things. Cookies, cakes, yes, please. I am a sugar junkie, but those aren't part of the paleo. And when I leave them out, I feel better. I become more healthy. And because of that, I can work out, I can train, I can perform at a higher performance level than I would be able to if I'm shoveling my face full of cookies and ice creams and beer and all that. And I figured this out because I've tried a bunch of different diets. One of the ones popular, not so much now, but was quite a few years ago, one of the ones that I started with was Atkins. So it's the big meat diet. Eat all the meat. Eat sort of keto, but more meat than fat. And I did well on that. I lost between 20 and 30 pounds over several months, but I could not ride my bike. Um, I could go about 10, 15 miles and I would bonk or hit the wall or lose all my energy, however you want to say it. So that was a big thing for me was I want to be outside and I want to be doing these things, but I can't do that if I'm not giving my body what it needs to do that. So Atkins was great for losing weight, not so good for riding my bike at the time. So I moved on to another diet and another diet until I tried paleo and I was like, holy cow, this is the diet that works for me. It just fuels my body correctly. I feel awesome and I can do things for long periods of time. Go out for a 100-mile bike ride, not a problem. Can't do that right now because, well, not fit, not healthy. We're changing that though. 100 miles maybe in the future. One of the things that needs to be touched on is you really need to experiment with what diets work best for you to figure out, to make sure you feel good, that you can go out and do the things that you want to do while you're on whatever diet you're trying it out. Of course, there's some of those crazy diets that don't make any sense, like a grapefruit diet. Some of that stuff, that's just cutting calories, pure and simple. And that's kind of the next point I want to make, is to make sure you're eating enough calories. I've been known to decide it's time to lose weight, so I just eat grilled chicken and salad. That's all I eat, grilled chicken and salad. 2, 3, 4 days later, I feel like crap. I have no energy. And it's because I cut my calories way too much. I add up the calories and it's like between 800 and 1,000 calories. And that is not enough. I'm a big person. I'm 6'6", 250 pounds. I'd like to be down to 220, and that's still a big person. So I need more calories. There's ways to figure out how many calories you need just to exist, and I'm around 1800. So when I cut my calories down by 800 to 1000, that's a lot of calories. There's reasons why I am not having the energy that I want or need to do what I want to do. So that's a thing. And that also brings up the kind of yo-yoing, fasting and famine. No, feast and famine. Um, so you cut all your calories, your body goes into famine mode. And it's like, okay, well, the next time we eat, we need to save some of those calories, store it as fat, so that the next time we don't have any calories, we have fat that we can burn. And so that just becomes a cycle that your body does, which kind of yo-yos as well. So if you don't eat enough calories, then you eat a bunch of calories, your body sucks that up and turns it into fat. And then it just goes back and forth, and you build up more and more fat, which means you're gaining more and more weight. And that's kind of the yo-yo effect that happens with a lot of people. Which is why when you're yo-yoing, you end up weighing more than you did when you started sometimes. So I slipped and talked about fasting just prior to the feast and famine. Fasting, another big thing right now is intermittent fasting. That's big with the keto people with their rocket fuel coffees and teas and all that. The fasting is, they say, like between 12 to 16 or 18 hours a day. You don't eat in between any of that. That's not something I do. That's not something that works for me. I actually do intermittent fasting while I sleep. I get about 8 hours of sleep nightly, like every night. It's pretty much 8 hours. With that, I usually have a bedtime snack. So like minutes before I go to bed, I eat something. And then I'm usually eating within 1 hour, no later than 2 hours after I wake up. So that's between 8 and 10 hours. I'm kind of fasting already. So adding on to that doesn't really work for me, because if I don't eat first thing in the morning, then I start becoming sluggish. I'm losing my energy. And that's just all things that happen with me. Intermittent fasting works great for other people. I know some of you out there are doing it, and I know one of you specifically, you do the 1 meal a day thing, which, hey, if that works for you, great. It doesn't work for me, so not something I'm going to do. I need to fuel up my body constantly throughout the day so I don't lose energy. So I'm one of those grazers, like 6 to 8 meals a day, kind of like a hobbit, really, really large hobbit, eating onesies and twosies and second breakfasts and 17th dinners and all that stuff, because that's how my body works. And with my background of the endurance sports and the sports nutrition, that's what I have discovered works for me again. And if I do it paleo, then it works really, really well for me. So yeah, this is all stuff that everybody needs to figure out on their own to see what works best. So give intermittent fasting a try. It may work for you, it may not. Every time you try something, give it at least 4 weeks though. The first couple of weeks, you may feel really crappy as your body converts to whatever that diet is. But usually by week 3, 4, 5, you're starting to feel either really good because it's working, or you still feel kind of sluggish and blah. So go out there, try the different diets, figure out what works for you, and go on from there. So yeah, and with all that, I'm going to be changing up my diet, going back to more paleo-like, so less dairy, less grains. Notice I said less and not no. Still got to enjoy life. I still enjoy beer. I still enjoy breads. Right now, my breakfast of choice is 4 eggs and 2 pieces of toast. The bread I use for that is sprouted grains, with some nuts and seeds mixed into it. It's like squirrel power or something like that. Um, I enjoy that. I can eat that every day. I do eat that every day, and it keeps me going for 4 or 5 hours. So I don't have to worry about that next meal happening. So with that, I'm going to be cutting down on the burgers and the pizzas and the beer and all that stuff. Sad, but I need more steak, chicken, just ground beef. So like hamburgers, but without the bun. Um, Less of the tasty beverages, which sucks, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do to drop the weight and become healthy and fit again. So that is pretty much my plan. Um, and the end of this video at this point, nutrition is a huge topic. There's no way I can cover everything in just one little video. If you guys do have questions, feel free to shoot them my way. I'll do my best to answer them. I will definitely be doing more nutrition videos, talking more about what I'm doing specifically and maybe some recipes and stuff of what I'm doing to make it all work out. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Hopefully this video quality is better than last week's. Not sure what happened with all that orange going on in the last video. So hopefully this time around, not orange. So yeah, thumbs up for not orange. Hopefully, I don't know. I gotta edit this and see what's going on. Also, please hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're there, you might as well ring that bell, because that way you'll be notified when the next video comes out. And how that bell actually works is once you ring that bell, I do a video, it pushes out, and you get notified because somebody from YouTube will come ring your doorbell or knock on your door if you don't have a doorbell and say, hey, Canadian Sasquatch got a new video. You better go watch it right now. It's true. Try it. Subscribe and ring that bell. See what happens. Of course, that's also kind of creepy that YouTube knows where you live and it's banging on your door at 8 a.m. on a Friday morning. But anyways, thank you all for joining me this week for the Fitness Friday. Be sure to go out and enjoy you some nature. And with that, my friends, see you in the next video. Cheers.